With Gina.
The news with Gina Grad.
Oh, hold on. I'm still pissed. You know how many people I know where the one son is wildly successful and the other son isn't, or killed themselves, or became a drug addict just within the same family? Mm-hmm. How do you chalk that up to haves and have-nots? We're living in the same fucking house. The politicians got in between the two brothers and anointed one successful and held the other one back. I mean, we all see it. Look at me and my sister. I'm not going to say which one of us is the loser, but you know what I'm saying? Like within
it's known.
With every family, there is wide chasms in between, like the two brothers who are 9 years apart. Yeah, what about Tom Hanks? Yeah, what about Swayze?
Well, there you
brothers. Swayze brothers. Sorry.
Who looks more like Swayze than Swayze?
Baldwins.
Swayze.
Couple of the Baldwin brothers.
Patrick. Oh, my God, just the Baldwins. Patrick Swayze looks more like Swayze than Swayze. That's
the other Swayze.
Oh, wait. What did I say?
What's Patrick Swayze's brother's name?
Oh, wait. It was, God.
Don Swayze.
Don looks more like Patrick than Patrick.
Don Swayze looks more like Patrick Swayze than Patrick Swayze.
It's crazy.
And what happened?
Especially now.
Yeah.
Oh, Brian.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sorry.
Director Bryan Singer, you know the name. He was accused of sexually abusing underage boys. He has agreed to pay $150,000 to a man who claims he was assaulted by Singer as a teenager. The guy is Cesar Sanchez Guzman.
Getting off light.
He says he was 17 when the X-Men director forced himself on him at a party in 2003. Singer's lawyer says that although he has agreed to pay, it is not an admission of guilt. He said in a statement, quote, Mr. Singer has denied even knowing this individual, let alone allegedly having interacted with him from more than 15 years ago. After the payment is received, the sexual assault claim will be thrown out. Meanwhile, this is how it's going to break down. For what it's worth, the settlement was reached at a time where Sanchez Guzman is filing for bankruptcy. So under the term of the agreement, $61,000 goes to creditors and paying off student loans, which is not, you can't declare under bankruptcy. Additional funds will be used to pay for the administration aspects of the case, and Sanchez Guzman will get the rest.
What do you mean forced him on? Do they know?
Brian, you've always had, I don't know why, but you have some insight on this.
I'd only heard stories from people who I consider to be very reliable that this sort of thing went on for a long time with Bryan Singer and young boys.
At parties,
on
meet
boats,
us at this pool party.
Kind of
the new young
pay for play kind of situation.
I don't know what was wrong with my childhood, but when I was in the 11th grade, I didn't go to any parties with A-list directors bouncing around.
Just dying to get to know you?
No, it's just other jack-off buddies going, you want a Mickey's Big Mouth? Yeah, all right.
Joel Schumacher wasn't looking your way?
No, I didn't go to any party with any famous people.
You lived right here.
I know, I lived in North Hollywood.
They went cruising for talent in North Hollywood.
No.
All right. Well, a couple more stories out of the Dominican Republic. Officials in the Dominican Republic are concerned about the impact a spate of suspicious deaths will have on tourism. In recent weeks, several vacationers died while staying at resorts on the island. The FBI has been investigating 7 inexplicable deaths. One of them, by the way, Shark Tank star Barbara Corcoran's brother. Her rep said that John Corcoran passed away at the end of April from what is believed to be natural causes. He loved visiting Dominican Republic.
I saw some stories on this. They were like focusing on the mini bar.
That's exactly what they said. Yes,
and the mini. If you want to know how hard the Dominican Republic likes to party, their mini bars don't have mini bottles. They have full bottles,
maxi bottles
turned upside
like
down, and you just hit it like an udder.
So maybe these people just OD'd.
Yeah, well, there's nothing in here about alcohol poisoning, but that's a good point. They said
I don't know if it's alcohol poisoning or like poisoning of the alcohol or whatever it is.
Well, this is what the autopsy report blames the deaths on, quote, pulmonary edema and respiratory failure. I would love for Dr. Drew to weigh in at some point. Many of the victims died of similar causes after drinking the alcohol from the minibar. The FBI is not alone, by the way. The World Health Organization and CDC are investigating as well. All these deaths and David Ortiz shooting on the island.
Yeah. Although that had to do with the mini bar.
It had nothing to do with the mini bar.
Also, can we say
a lot of PR, a lot of optics right now.
Where was Singleton coming back from when he got ill?
Oh, somewhere foreign.
Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Oh, Costa Rica. Okay.
Which is awesome.
So let's just try not to be superstitious natives here. because we do this thing where we go like, and these 3 people died, and then Big Papi. I mean, when's this going to end? And it's like, well, he got shot in the back at a bar, so let's not count him into this group.
Right. But I'm just saying that because of a tourism aspect, people are like, I don't know, do I cancel?
The thing is if someone's going to come to your weird place and get drunk and spend money, on average, every 3 years, 2 people are going to die. And that's just kind of how it coalesces. Right. But if you put all those 3 people into one month,
resort.
And Drew always says that like random events sort of, I'll paraphrase, but they work out in a non-random kind of way, and it freaks everybody out. Yeah. So it's like, if you're going to average a tourist a year, it's not going to be, well, in 10 years, we lost 10 tourists. No, it's going to be in 1 year we lost 5 tourists. Right. Like something's just going to happen in a weird way. Right. So maybe this is just
part of that cycle,
people getting drunk and dying, which they do. Yeah. And it just happened to happen 3 times in a row.
Right. I mean, people always die in threes, right?
Yeah. That's
3 times, fool!
Well, just a quick update. We'll stay in the Dominican for a hot second. Authorities have arrested the man they believe shot David Ortiz. Police say Ramon Martinez Perez was part of the group that was offered. And it's funny because thank God we got it right. Chris got it right.
He got felt up by Singer, too, right?
Oh, yeah,
of
right.
course.
It was like $100,000.
A lot of news outlets reported that they were offered $400,000. It was pesos, so it was about $8,000 as we reported. So it was $8,000 to kill him. Surveillance video from the bar where the shooting took place allegedly shows Perez firing a gun into Ortiz's back. 6 people have been arrested in connection with the crime.
Can I say that? Is that the version, like, when women, like where we talk about, like, well, Gina, if you ever became a prostitute, you'd be like a $75 to $90 prostitute. And then you go, what the fuck? And then you go, no, I'd be like $5,000. Like I'd be a high class hooker. And I'd go, I could get like definitely one trip to the ATM, even if it was one of those limited ones. And it's a slap in the face, and I feel like
hurtful.
The version of that for guys is how much to kill you. You know what I mean? Like, we'll do it for well under 10. Yeah. Like,
wow.
What do you mean? I'm a huge star. Yeah. We could get that done quickly.
This is the plot of Ruthless People, by the way, if you remember that.
Is it?
Bette Midler, Judge Reinhold, Helen Slater.
DeVito, right?
Yeah. God, I love that movie.
I think I get that confused with Down and Out in Beverly Hills.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
which
I could see
came
that.
out about the same time. But anyway.
Yeah, you're right.
Why do we need Big Papi dead for $8,000? And who?
We don't know yet.
What's he doing?
We don't know.
All right.
Police said,
value.
Yeah, the police said the handgun used in the attempted hit was found buried near a house about 100 miles away where one of the suspects was arrested. And Ortiz is back in the United States. He's suffering a lot of internal damage and now, so far, 2 surgeries. So I hope we find out what the motive was because this it's insane. 1 week ago, Joe Crane, the morning meteorologist on WICS in Springfield, Illinois, called out station management for mandating these over-the-top alarmist code red weather alerts. And he did it on the show, and he's out of a job. A spokesman for the station's parent company, Sinclair Broadcasting Group, confirmed Wednesday night that Joe was let go. Here's the clip that got him in such hot water with Sinclair. And, he's a respected meteorologist and he doesn't want to scare people that, for no reason. So this is part of what he had to say.
I don't take myself very seriously, but I do take my job seriously and my responsibility to the public. So we want you to know it's not us. This is a corporate initiative, the Code Red Alert. And behind the scenes, many of us have tried to dissuade it for the last few months to try something else that's less controversial to the viewers. And it continues to be controversial based on all the social media that continues to this day. So keep in mind, despite the fact that this facility is owned by a corporation, it's still licensed under the authority by the Federal Communications Commission to serve the public interest, convenience, and necessity. So you still have a voice. Keep those cards and letters coming.
So the community is very en masse behind him, of course, and people are livid. And Sinclair, I believe, did not comment.
I have never felt so in favor of one of Adam's theories. As you know, you say people sometimes just want out. You know what I mean? They kind of shoot themselves in the foot. They just want out. Sinclair Broadcasting is pretty controversial. They're the ones that will,
Supercut.
Yeah, you've seen supercuts of them, of all their anchors across all their platforms in many cities, reading verbatim, the sort of propaganda-ish.
Yeah, I go to sports clips now, but anyway, I think I know what you're talking about.
So I'm wondering if he's like, what, this place is not really for me. I'm not too terribly
like he
upset.
wanted out.
Yeah, if I get fired.
That was his swan song.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and there's been others. Remember the woman who was, maybe you can find it. She's a good-looking, youngish African-American woman. I think for some reason the story was about weed, and she's doing her report, and she goes, "So fuck it. I quit," and walked off.
Well, I like that.
No, Brian, no! I love it here.
I had a sad realization the other day that while I am technically wealthy, I only get my haircut at places with the word clips in it. Yeah. Like sports clips or super clips or whatever clips. Yeah. And
Great
I only stay at hotels that have the word airport in it as well. So I may not be living a life of luxury.
Yeah. No, you're not decadent.
If you see a place and it ends with clips, that's well under $20 for a haircut. There's all this like code red and all we have, super predators and, killer bees from Africanized killer bees and all this kind of stuff. I've said it a million times. We're out of problems. Everyone's got air conditioning and an airbag, and there's a part of our brain, and we need to light up that part of our brain. And so the news is going to do that. Life used to do that in the form of there's a bear on my porch. You know what I mean?
Right.
But now we don't have any danger. The news realizes we have to light up that part of the brain. So we can't just talk about a storm. We have to talk about a red zone storm or superstorm.
It's the fear factor. It's the whole, we have to keep everybody fear-based.
Right.
And it goes to what you're speaking to. It goes to
I don't know that's like nefarious in terms of we have to keep them fear-based, which it's like, I need your attention and you're not giving me your attention because you're looking at your phone.
Right.
So I need to talk about your kids and how they're in danger. And then you're going to look up and go, what? My kids are in danger? Right. Oh, good. I've got your attention. Now let me tell you that story.
Right.
That's not going to sound like that much.
Right, exactly. They do have the clip of the one I was referring to, if you remember this.
Now, everything you heard is why I, the actual owner of the Alaska Cannabis Club, will be dedicating all of my energy toward fighting for freedom and fairness, which begins with legalizing marijuana here in Alaska. And as for this job, well, not that I have a choice, but fuck it, I quit.
Not since...
How do you transition out of that?
You can take this job and shove it.
That was like in that thing you do. Remember when he quit?
Right.
Yeah, playing the drums, right?
Singing.
Snapping, like I quit.
Oh, I thought he was playing the drums. He was snapping. That's right.
Yeah, the drummer.
Remember, it was musical.
Spartacus was a good guy. Yeah. There's going to be more of that. Well, she didn't look like a typical Alaskan news anchor.
No, or the leader of the Cannabis Society. It's awesome.
No, Alaska's got some range.
Like her. Well, TMZ reports that due to popular demand, Jersey Shore star Vinny Guadagnino, is that right? Am I saying that right? And you can go ahead and roll the video for the boys. Will headline Chippendales again during a 6-week run beginning July 26th, ending September 1st, because apparently he is a big draw, and we are watching
the
shower act on stage. According to TMZ, ticket sales during his April through May run rivaled Tyson Beckford's. That was apparently legendary of 2017. He'll be featured at the Rio Friday and Saturday nights. And when asked about this sort of bare-ass shower scene we're looking at right now, Vinny says it was his choice to get fully nude because he's known to go hard or go home.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean... Hey, kudos to him getting paid to take a shower on stage.
Take a shower for the ladies.
He's always so lucky.
Yeah.
Adam, we're going to Denver. 2 showers each night.
Oh,
You've never been so clean.
Yeah.
He's selling out.
That's right.
Yeah, they've approached me. But...
Sunday shower still available.
Matinee shower?
There is a move. I don't know what you call it, but I've seen some real sex or whatever it is. And there's a move, the women's strip club is awesome, but the urban women's strip club is super awesome.
They get after it.
They get after it. And those guys have a weird dick sock move they do. I mean,
it's like a Chinese finger trap with one end.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're stuffing socks in the dick sock, but I mean, there's a lot of dick in those in those socks, and they're swinging that thing around and bashing women in the head with it and whatnot.
Yeah. Those are crazy.
Like wind
I've seen
socks.
that. Yeah.
Have you guys been to Bangkok, Thailand?
Twice last year.
They have this this thing called the ping pong show.
Oh,
heard about that.
Yeah. You have to have crazy Kegel muscles.
Yeah, I can't unsee that. You know,
you did see it.
I got talked into going.
Are you sorry you did?
No, because it gave me great comedy fodder. Like I talk about it on stage, and I actually will ask audience members if they've seen it, and people will raise their hand, and I'll bring them up and have them give their version of it.
So it's an interactive show.
Yeah, and you mentioned the what muscle? The Kegel?
The Kegels, yeah.
Kegel.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what that word meant until like a week ago. Like, apparently it's some...
She's got to work out like Rocky to do that.
Muscle in a woman's...
vaginal walls.
That allows you to like breathe underwater or some shit.
Exactly. Yes, that's exactly what it does.
I don't know. You guys are like aquatic, amphibious. I don't know, but this woman put 3 unlit cigarettes in her... And then she lit them, and then she inhaled with her Kegel, and then exhaled, and I was like, oof. In my head, I was like, if you go down on her, do you get throat cancer?
Oh,
like, what
probably.
is that? You know, is it just
emphysema?
Emphysema? Do you get coughs when you're? Wow. Anyway, it was bizarre. Speaking of strip,
Maxipata, it just struck me in the Man Show. We did movies men don't want to see. I think we used to do a series called Movies Men Don't Want to See, and one of them was Rugrats Go to Bangkok. And at some point we may have switched it up to movies men do want to see or something, because we would always start with movies, I think it was movies men don't want to see, but the poster's actually in the shop. It's behind us on a wall over in the next section somewhere. But there was a Rugrats Go to Bangkok in movies men don't want to see. And maybe we switch it to movies men do want to see.
I kind of want to see that.
I cannot recall, but I do remember the poster art for that. So I don't know what's online, but you can look it up. All right, Gina Grad, why don't we bring that home? Maxpat, you can tell us if you found any.
We found one of them. I don't know if it's a recurring bit or not, so we're trying to sort through.
I think we did it a few times.
Yeah, it was a few times.
I'll take whatever one you have.
All right, we'll play this one.
Movies men don't want to see.
First up, a comedy from the producers of the First Wives Club. 2 of America's most beloved stars in a wild romp through the hilarious world of blanket making. Bette Midler and Lily Tomlin are quilting. A yarn that'll leave you in stitches.
Seriously, my wife would need an ether rag, a roll of duct tape, and a wheelbarrow to get me to that one. Next, an inspiring struggle for pride and survival in the Old West. Dick Van Patten and LeVar Burton experienced firsthand the trials and tribulations of interracial gay adoption in the 1800s in Pioneer Dads.
I wrote that one.
They work the land and each other.
Oh, yes, they do.
All right.
I would rather take a bus full of hairdressers to see Snoopy on Ice than go to this dog. Next, from the makers of Forrest Gump, an ironic tale of one man's fight against fate. Robbie Benson plays a calligrapher whose world comes apart after he's stricken with carpal tunnel syndrome in Broken Quills. His future could use a hand.
If that movie was playing in a theater that was flooded with old Milwaukee and strippers were drowning in it, I wouldn't step foot inside. All right, now a police saga. Fresh off his smash hit Krippendorf's Tribe, Richard Dreyfuss is Brad Feldman, a Baltimore cop who's never fired his gun, gets along great with his sergeant, plays by the rules, and who the mayor and DA both like a lot in By the Book. He's cleaning up the streets from behind his desk.
I would rather wear Sally Jesse Raphael's panties like a ski mask. While she was in them. Next, History repeats itself as one woman relives the struggles of her past. Coming this fall from Harpo Productions, Whoopi Goldberg as Harriet Tubman V in Freedom Train 2000. Making stops at Dignityville and Equalityburg.
Let me tell you something. If you superglued my genitalia to a cannonball and fired it through the front door of this theater, you couldn't get me to see a second of that. Next, from the director of Witness, after murder rocks the Renaissance Festival, Chicago cop Matthew Broderick goes undercover as a leather mug maker in Ye Have the Right to Remain Silent. Hey. Hey, who is working the stuff back there? Who is... Oh.
All right. Ye have the right to remain silent. All right, that's good. We'll find the Bangkok.
Was that the
Rugrats go to Bangkok? But LeVar, I wrote that one about Frontier Dads, and LeVar Burton called me at my desk, and I was just sitting at my desk, and a few days later, and like we had a secretary. I don't know what we had. She was like, LeVar Burton's on the phone, and I was like, he is? Like, he wants to talk to you, and I was like, why does he want to talk to me? I don't know LeVar. Okay. And put LeVar Burton through, and they put him through, and it's like, he was like, what the fuck? And I was like,
was he pissed?
Yeah, he was. He was like,
really?
Why'd you put me with Frontier Dad or whatever? And I was like, I don't know. I had to choose a black guy and a white guy. And
he should have been thrilled because it could have been Cuba Gooding Jr. It could have been Gregory Hines.
You're a black guy, and you know, Vince Van, or whatever,
Dick Van Patten.
Dick Van Patten, Vince Van Von. Vince Van Von. He's white and this is be funny. And he's like, well, why me?
Was he satisfied with that answer?
Not
Doesn't
really.
sound like it.
Not really. Not really. But
oh my god. Was
that was episode 2 of the Man Show?
Wow.
Wow.
Was that Gary Auerbach who was the producer of that or no?
Yeah, it was Gary.
Yeah, I know Gary.
Nice guy.
Yeah. He moved to I think he moved to like
Malaysia. He's a neighbor.
He moved out of Hollywood. But, yeah, I remember he was because we used to. I remember him and I don't know who was the other producer on that, but Gary Auerbach.
Yeah, we. Yeah, well, we'll try to find some more of those. It was fun. There were certain writing assignments that were boring, but those were fun, like writing those little things. And like, I remember I didn't write "Ye have the right to remain silent," but it made me laugh when I heard that he was a leather mug maker.
He went
undercover as a leather mug maker. That was, that was funny.
How many sketches would you guys write, and then how many would get passed or get approved? Like on a weekly basis.
We had a big cork board, a big long cork board. Took up. We shared an office. A big long. We put stripes on it. Be show 1, show 2, all the way like through show 22. Oh, wow. And we just start filling them in with these 3x5 cars. There'd be like an act break, and then come back with bumper. And we just start filling them in. Like I always remember walking in on day 1 of season anything, and I'd sit down at my desk and I'd just look at this huge cork board, and it was empty. So there wasn't anything on it, but it had 22 stripes in it, and I was like, how are we going to figure that one out? And then at a certain point, when you get some things like Manovations or movies men don't want to see or things like that, you can start filling it in, because what you'll do is you'll get a card and you'll go, let's do movies men don't want to see episode 3, and then you'll go, we'll do another one on episode 11,
right,
and we'll do one more at episode 17, and you don't have them written yet, but you can slot it in there, and then we'll start working on
so you're
those.
Kind of benchmarking and then working backwards.
Right. Yeah, it's a good, in terms of a viable skill you'd like your kids to know. It's a good skill. It's like, sit down, look at empty cork board, look at 22 spaces, and now you get some other people and you guys fucking fill it in.
Right.
And you'll blink your eyes and it'll be filled in, and then you'll start over again. That's how it works.
Well, that's kind of like how a comic's brain works in a sense. When you're going on stage and trying material, you kind of work backwards. Right. Sometimes you have an idea, you throw it out there. Sometimes a joke will work later, a month, 2, but sometimes a year later you'll try it, and you'll fill in the blanks eventually.
I like the, sort of I think you get the same thing out of restoring a car in your garage. Like it's there, it's a rust bucket, it's a pile of junk, and you start very slowly taking it apart and sending things out. And it's also like, well, I can do a lot of work myself, but I can't chrome the bumpers myself. I'll send those out, but I'll assemble them when I get it out. And you do that with coworkers and writers' assistants, and you start working on stuff, and you kind of explain to them what you want. They start learning what you want, and before you know it, 100 episodes goes by.
Sort of like a comedic composer, right?
Yeah, you have to get a whole band together, and they have to kind of understand what it is that you want. Yeah. All right, should we bring it home, Gina Grad?
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news. So fuck it. I quit.
Gina. That was the news with Gina Grad.